Hello, my name is Bennion-Rowe. I'm making this video for what feels like the millionth time. I need to apologise in advance because I may cry, and will happen a lot as well. I want to talk about something that I did or happened to me, depending on your point of view, when I was 20. That's like nearly 9 years ago now, and it's one of those, it's still quite painful to talk about, so bear with me. So I just finished college, and well, not quite finished college, I was just about to finish, last exam sort of thing, and the relationship with my dad at that time wasn't a very good one. We had very differing views on pretty much everything, and the biggest one that we disagreed about was my sexuality. I came out at the age of 17, and due to other factors in the world, he said that he accepted it, and as long as I was happy and that sort of thing, and so I thought it was in a good place. Over the years, though, it came to the point that I started to date people, and he wasn't happy with the direction my life was taking. It came to the point where during one of those heated conversations, I'm going to say, because it wasn't an argument, it was just very heated, he turned around to me and said, "You make my skin crawl." Now that's, for anyone to say that to anyone, that's harsh. Coming from my dad, though, it was a big nasty ball of nastiness. It's the only way I can describe it. That was very quickly followed up with, "I want you to leave my house." At that point, I didn't really have much choice but to do as he requested, so I did. It came to the point of I spoke to some family members, and though they sympathised with or empathised really with what was going through, they weren't able to help me out as much as they'd want to. Especially hard on my mum, who I know through her own experiences, didn't have the greatest of times when she was growing up and things. So it came to the point that I was effectively homeless. I was living in a shelter for a little while I got myself sorted with a job and tried to work out my own life and what was going to happen next. Living in a shelter was hard. I had to put up with a daily barrage of insults of fag and queer, and in the small town that I lived in, that didn't tend to stop at the door sort of thing. It was in the streets, glass bottles thrown at me, dogs tried to be set on me, that sort of thing. And it came to the point where I decided that I'd had enough and I wasn't strong enough to deal with it all. So one morning around about 2 a.m, I climbed up on top of a very big bridge that's advertised in a cathedral city advert, and I was ready to take my own life. And it was at that point when I was stood on that bridge, and it's cold, and it was just, I felt so alone. I started to say goodbye to people in my head. And some people say what I was doing was prayer, and I don't think it was, because I was saying goodbye. I wasn't asking for help. I was committed and decided that's what I wanted to do. So I was saying goodbye to a lot of people. I said goodbye to my parents, both of them, family, the extended family, my grandparents, friends, even the dog. And it was at that time when I was saying goodbye, I realised how many people I'd be leaving behind that I cared about, and they cared about me as well. And it was that desperation and sudden realisation that I wasn't alone and that I was loved that got me to stand back from the edge and get down and get on with my life sort of thing, and realise that the people out there that hate me have no idea of the amount of love I have in my life. And although I got to that point again, it was not as desperate. I got to the point of remembering everyone that I loved and that loved me before I made the decision to climb the bridge. And that's my message, that before you climb your bridge, or you've decided you don't want enough, just remember how many people love you. Years on, and I've had some very big relationships. I've been in love. I'm in love now. I've got a good job. I've got myself a nice place to live. I've got a great circle of friends. I speak to my family all the time, just about nothing. It's great to be here, and I couldn't be here if it wasn't for that time I got off the bridge and said, I will be okay. You will be okay. It gets better. It's as simple as that, I promise you. You are loved, and I would say to anyone that thinks that they are alone, you're not. Because even if you can't think of someone that loves you right now, there will be people that love you right now. And if you think that, that's it, there's so much more to live, for you to give to the world and for you to gain. So hang in there. If you feel that low, speak to someone, whether it's a friend or a relative or a counsellor or anyone that can just let you speak and vent and cry if you need to cry, because it does hurt, but it gets so much better. It's hard to say how good it can get because it's so easy to explain the bad things. The best decision I ever made was to remember the people that I loved and remember the people that I know love me. And that's what I want you to do. Whenever you feel low, you're loved.